Hi guys, James at Rampant Lion Reviews again for you today with another beer review. For this one we are going to cross the Øresund once again, and we're going to go back to Copenhagen in Denmark, which in addition to being a very beautiful city that I highly recommend you visit, it's also one of the best craft beer cities in the world these days, at least in my opinion. And for this review we're going to return to a brewery who I first encountered maybe back in about 2016 or so. Then for a long time I didn't see any of their beers. I did manage to find one collaboration beer with, I think it was Wylam Brewery over in England when I was in Durham. And then it's only quite recently that I've been able to do some more dedicated reviews to them, so it's nice to see them getting their beers out there a little bit more again recently. So for this review we are going to go to Flying Couch Brewery for the fourth time, I believe it is, on the channel, and today we're having a taste of their Pilsner, which comes in at 4.5% ABV. I believe this is quite a recent release over in Denmark as well. But we got this one here in Sweden as part of the local Småskaligt assortment in Systembolaget on the 1st of June 2020. So in addition to some of the Swedish beers, or mostly Swedish releases, we do get a couple of things from Denmark and Norway, which of course are always welcome because the standards of beer there are also very, very high. But this is another style that I've never tried from this brewery. The Dude that I tried, which was the very first beer, I'm sure that was an IPA or a pale ale of some description. The one that was a collaboration with Wylam, I'm pretty sure that was a New England IPA of some description as well. The last one that I reviewed from these guys, the Aroma, was a sour beer, sour IPA sort of thing, and then this will be my first ever lager beer from these guys as well. So I've been getting really into my Pilsners and my lagers again, probably because it's getting close to the summer, but yeah, this is a style of beer that I really quite enjoy. I'm quite hard to impress with these, I have to say, having lived in Germany, but hopefully this turns out to be a nice example. Flying Couch are a very capable brewery in my experience, so hopefully this one does turn out to be a very nice example of the style. But there is a very capable brew team at this brewery, I have to say, at least in my experience. So yeah, definitely cool to return to these guys, and I hope that you guys enjoy my take on this beer as well. So yeah, as always with my reviews then, I'll tell you a little bit about the brewery before we taste the beer. If you want to get straight to the tasting, just fast forward. All the usual links are in the description below. That's the brewery website, the link to my other reviews that I've done from Flying Couch before. Hopefully we can add some more to that list in the fairly near future. Only the fourth time I'm reviewing something from these guys, as I said. There's all the usual social media down there too. If you want to see more reviews, do please consider subscribing to the channel. The whole channel of course has a geography based tagging system, so you can go into the home page and search for beer based on country, city, state, county, province, prefecture, whatever it is you're interested in. Do check out the playlist of beers from different countries. There is one there for all the Danish beers that I've reviewed for you. That's being added to very regularly because I am so close to Denmark. And as always, please do get in touch and let me know some of the other beers and breweries that you guys would like to see me review. It's always great to hear from you guys that are watching the videos, and the support that you show the channel is hugely appreciated. So anyway, to tell you a little bit about Flying Couch Brewery then, on to my brewery notes. So Flying Couch Brewery was founded originally back in 2011 by Peter Sona, and he was joined in the early days by Jannik Salhold, who used to brew for Mikkeller, the very famous Danish gypsy brewery. So he was the head brewer at, Peter was the head brewer at Nørrebro Bryghus, and he was also the managing director and head brewer for Halsnæs Bryghus as well. But he also apparently used to brew a little bit for Herslev Bryghus too, and I'm not sure exactly what order these things went in, but I believe some of the original Flying Couch beers were produced in these various different locations. So this company went from 2011 to 2015 as a gypsy brewery, but they now have their own brewery which is set up between Bispebjerg, if I'm pronouncing that right, and Nørrebro in Copenhagen. So it's kind of in the northwestern part of the city. But Flying Couch basically started as a sort of playground project for Peter, where he can have, you know, kind of total control of the brewing process and brew what he likes, because he was restricted working for the other breweries. And the brewery is apparently named after the good ideas that Peter has had when he's been on the couch, hence Flying Couch. He's mind flying out with all these good ideas, and him sitting chilling there on the couch enjoying a few beers, no doubt. But today this company consists of 5 people after Kasper Gerdes, Kim Christensen and Michael Arom joined Peter and Jannik as well. But as of June 2020, when I'm filming this review for you, these guys have produced in the region of 220 different kinds of beer. So they are a fairly prolific brewery, and I think a lot of those beers were only produced on cask initially. So yeah, I'm not quite sure about that, but if you check out their website, there are 4 or 5 different varieties available. But when I've been over to Kiosk, it's only been quite recently that I've seen their beers coming back out. So I'm really not sure where their beers were between, you know, sort of around 2016 and about 2018 or so, actually, because the Sourena I actually bought in Kiosk in late 2019. I'm sure it was around November or so, that, or maybe I bought it around October and then reviewed it in November of 2019. So yeah, I don't know why I didn't see this brewery for so long. Maybe the cans were being sent to other parts of Denmark or whatever. But yeah, definitely nice that we can get more of their beers fairly regularly now, and I do hope that I can review some other different styles from these guys, because I know they are a very capable brewery actually. So yeah, that's all I can really tell you about Flying Couch Brewery for the moment. If you want to learn more about these guys, do check out the brewery website. You can follow them on Facebook and Instagram to keep up to date with all the latest goings on, and of course you can check out the Rate Beer, Untappd and Beer Advocate pages to learn more about all the different individual beers that they've got. So yeah, let's see how we get on with this one then. So as I told you at the start of the video, this one is a 4.5% Pilsner. It's hot with Hallertau, Mittelfrüh and also Pearl. So Hallertau, Mittelfrüh is basically the Hallertau mid-spring hops. These are usually around the kind of typical 5% alpha acid. Of course, the two main varieties that you get in Germany are Hallertau and Tettnanger, so this one is one of the kind of big two, if you like, and the Pearl is a slightly stronger alpha acid hop. I think it's usually around sort of 6% alpha acid normally, so yeah, slightly more kind of floral and bitter hop actually. So yeah, this one should be quite nice. I'll be very curious to see how it balances up and see how kind of authentically German it is, because that is the thing that you want with a lager beer, is you want it to be kind of authentic. You know, you're not, this isn't a style of beer like IPAs and things where you are expecting them to be, you know, quite quirky and quite different. A Pilsner, you want it to be solid, you want it to be crisp, and you want it to kind of taste like the ones you would get either in Germany or the Pilsens that you would get in the Czech Republic. So yeah, next to present you this one there, you can see this little F thing here. That is the Flying Couch brewery symbol. But yeah, this is a 330ml can, and I think I paid in the region of like 25 Swedish crowns or something like this, or maybe 30, I'm not quite sure. I noticed on the website, on the Flying Couch website, this one was 25 Danish crowns, so I'm guessing I would have paid about 30 for it, or maybe 35, I'm not quite sure. But I got this one because I wanted to review another beer from this brewery, and you know, I do enjoy a good lager beer. Black top can, this one, which is quite nice, 4.5% Pilsner beer, Hallertau, Mittelfrüh and Pearl, both hops from Germany. So let's get this guy out and we will get on with the tasting then. Little 330ml can. Let's get this guy out and into the glass. Of course, if I wanted to, I could drink this one in the Stein, one of the German Steins, but I do actually have a Mikkeller 330ml Stein, but you know, this is usually the glass that I normally use. I'm just kind of used to this one, to be honest with you. And the Tulip is the best all-rounder for all the different styles. So yeah, as you can see with this one, it poured with a little bit of a frothy kind of, I would say perfect white head, to be honest with you. But it's about a quarter finger or so, but that's faded away to be a very kind of thin, foamy layer. And it's just, you know, you've basically just got a ring around the beer now with a few little bits of foam on the top of it. But yeah, nothing particularly surprising about this beer in terms of its appearance when you consider what style it is. It's got a lovely kind of pale golden straw colour. It's actually one of the paler Pilsners that I've come across in recent times. Quite a few of them have been a little bit more kind of ambery golden than this, but it does look very nice. As I say, this is a, you know, it's a crystal clear beer. This one, there's a lot of you know, there's a lot of carbonation visible in this one. One or two big bubbles sticking towards the side of the glass, but just a kind of a stream of nice smaller bubbles going up towards the bottom of where that head used to be. But yeah, in terms of a Pilsner style beer, there's nothing particularly surprising about this one in terms of its appearance. So yeah, certainly looks the part. Let's see how we get on with the aroma of this one. So yeah, hopefully this smells nice and authentic and German. And it does, it really does. So yeah, straight away with this one, you get that lovely kind of slightly white bready, sort of wet white bready base that you expect of the beer. Some of these beers can be a little bit more kind of crisp, some of them can be a little bit more kind of biscuity and sweet, but yeah, you get a lovely little bit of a kind of bready-ish base out of this one. I do like how that goes together. Yeah, I do like this beer. Comes across really quite nicely, I think. In terms of the kind of sweetness and things, you do get a little bit of a sort of biscuity malt out of this one, like a kind of McVitie's digestive sort of thing. Gives you a little bit of that sort of oily note. It's not quite as sweet as caramel, but yeah, a little bit more kind of biscuity and things. But yeah, nice little bit of biscuity oily kind of sweetness out of it, which is nice. You get a bit of a kind of bready quality underneath it, and you can just smell the crispness of the Pilsner malt in this. Pilsner malt's a really notoriously difficult thing, I think, to describe how it smells. You know, if you're into your beers, you know exactly how this smells. It smells like a sort of wet bready kind of thing, and then it just comes across as really sharp and almost crisp. I feel like it's just got this nice kind of astringency to it, which I think is really very, very nice. So yeah, I do like how this one goes together. I mean, this is a very, very nice smelling beer in terms of its malt base. It's pretty much got everything you would want from an authentic sort of German or Czech take on the style. Yeah, maybe even a tiny little touch of woodiness to it, to be honest, which is interesting. But yeah, nice, typical Pilsner malt base. In terms of the hoppiness, you've got a little bit of that typical earthiness you expect of German hops, just a little bit of that lighter sort of thing. It's got a nice kind of floral quality to it. I think that the green side of the hops in this one really leans towards the floral side of things, and German hops always have this really bright kind of floral character. The Czech Sats, I think, is just slightly more sort of spicy, to be honest with you. And almost a wee bit more citrusy, I think, as well. But you've got a nice little bit of grassiness on the beer as well. But as I say, the green side of the hops for me really lean towards a more sort of floral character. But on the fruity side of it, I mean, you've got a little bit of a kind of peary note to the beer. There's a little bit of a kind of appley note, and you've of course got that sort of lemony, grassy, kind of citrusy note that you would expect of these German noble hops as well. But I think it's kind of, there is a good bit of a peary note coming out of this one. So yeah, mainly a peary note, a little bit of an appley note, and a little bit of that typical kind of grassy, citrusy element that you would expect of it too. So a nice typical aroma on the beer, that you would expect, at least a typical Pilsner aroma. So take a bit of time to enjoy that before you actually taste the beer, but we'll have a look at this one now and see how we get on. So this one is simply called Pilsner, 4.5% German style Pilsner. I'm guessing by the name it would be Czech if it was Pilsen. But yeah, a nice 4.5%er from Flying Couch Brewery over in Copenhagen in Denmark. Let's get stuck into this one. Slàinte, skål. Oh yeah, it's really, this one's interesting. To me, this is one of the wetter Pilsners that I've come across, and the maltiness really comes out a little bit later in the taste. That's an interesting note about this one. Yeah, the maltiness in this beer, I think, really comes out a little bit later in the taste compared to some of the other examples of this style that I've had. So that's definitely an interesting point to make about this one. So yeah, this one I wouldn't say is one of the kind of crisper Pilsners that I've had. This one actually strikes me as being a little bit more kind of oily, to be honest with you, but I do like it. The flavour, the way the flavour profile that this one has is pretty much kind of bang on, but definitely one of the wetter Pilsners I would say that I've come across actually. Definitely a bit of oil. It's definitely quite oily as well, come to think of it. So yeah, this one has got the flavour profile you expect, but I think the mouthfeel is a little bit different compared to what you might normally expect from this one. But yeah, interesting about that. It'd be cool to see what this is like on cask or keg actually, because I think this one, yeah, that's the first thing that strikes me, but it's definitely more wet and oily than some of the other ones I've had. And I've had some really, really good lagers recently. Hule Brewery in Malmö have been, doing some really, really nice Pilsners, and of course the Opigård's Hedemora Pilsner was nice as well. Yeah, I'll stick with that impression of this beer. I do like this one. The flavour profile it's got, like I say, is nice, but definitely one of the wetter and slightly more oily Pilsners that I've come across recently, I would say. So yeah, let's try and break down the flavour and just describe this a little bit better then. So straight away with this one, you can feel that sort of little bit of kind of an almost bready base just blankets in the middle of your tongue. The further you go into the aftertaste, in fairness to this beer, you do feel a little bit of the more kind of grainy and crisp notes. So you feel the middle of your palate almost drying out with this one a little bit. So the beer does gradually become a little bit crisper the further you go into the aftertaste. But I really find the mouthfeel of this one does have a fair kind of oiliness to it, which really lingers there. If you go to the front corners of your palate, we'll talk about the middle third of your tongue if you like. So if you go to the front corners of your palate, then move back a little bit, there's one or two little woody undertones to the beer. You've got that kind of Pilsner malty bready base to this one. Then you've got a wee bit of a sweeter kind of caramelly almost thing in the very centre of your palate, and as you move further out from that, you get this more McVitie's digestive grainy type quality out of it. So it really does kind of crispen up and get a little bit, it really does kind of crispen up and get a little bit more, how do you say, just a little bit more grainy and dry, if you like, the further you go into the aftertaste. But yeah, the sort of wetter, oily characters come out of this one a wee bit later on as well. But yeah, I do like how this one goes together. So yeah, the malt base, if you go to the back third of your tongue, you do get a few more kind of grainy elements out of it. It does feel a little bit more kind of grainy and grassy. No, not grassy, just a bit more grainy and dry, if you like. On the back third of your tongue, you can feel those grainy notes just pushing their way out. But yeah, I do like how that side of it goes together. I think the crispness really does build up the further you go into the aftertaste, and it mainly comes out at the back of the palate as well. So I think it is definitely still one of the more oily and wet Pilsners I've had, but the kind of crispness does build a little bit. On the hoppy side of things then, back corners of the palate, there's definitely a little bit of earthiness there. The earthiness is a little bit darker compared to some other beers that I've had, the Hallertau Mittelfrüh or the Perlin. So the earthiness, I think, is a little bit darker in this one. But as you can move further forward there, the earthiness just kind of fades out a little bit. You get some nice floral aromatic notes towards the front of the palate as well. You can feel it's a little bit stronger, I think, because of the pearl. But then around the front curve of the palate, it's a little bit lighter and more grassy. So I think this Pilsner, I think, does have a little bit more kind of bitterness to it, I would say, than some of the other ones that I've come across in recent times. So yeah, I would think this one is maybe, you know, Pilsner Urquell is about 30, but I think this is a little bit more bitter than that. This might be 35 or 40 IBUs maybe, because there is almost just a little touch of dankness from it, which is quite unusual from German hops, of course, because usually, or at least traditional German beers, because usually they are brewed, generally speaking, to a fairly low IBU actually. So yeah, nice grassiness around the front curve of the tongue. The front third of your palate, as I always say, that's where the little oily bubble comes, where the juicy fruity esters roll out of the beer. And for me, you've got a nice little bit of a kind of grassiness on this one. You do get a bit of that typical citricy kind of grassiness, but for the most part, the front kind of third of your tongue, it's got a bit of a peariness to it. There is a wee bit of an apple-y quality, maybe a little bit of a slightly gooseberry-ish type thing coming out of it. But yeah, I mean, overall, it's quite it really is quite a nice the flavour profile of this one, as I say, is quite nice. It's just more kind of wet and oily than you would normally expect from a Pilsner in my mind. But yeah, you do get a few kind of almost gooseberry-like elements coming out of this, and a wee bit of a kind of citrusy quality, zestiness on the front of the very kind of front edge of your tongue as well. So overall, it's a solid enough Pilsner, this one, but I just think the mouthfeel should be a little bit, it shouldn't be quite as oily and quite as wet as this, but in terms of flavour profile, I think they've got it pretty damn solid in my opinion. It's a nice Pilsner, and I wouldn't hesitate to drink it again actually. I do like how this goes together. I don't know, I think this one does have a little bit more bitterness to it, so on this note, let's move on to the mouthfeel. So definitely I'd describe this one as being the top end of light-bodied, the bottom end of mid-bodied. Like I say, I find this one a little bit thicker and a bit more oily and stuff compared to other Pilsners. Good little bit of carbonation to this one. It does have a bit of crispness to it, but that takes a little bit of time to build, mainly in the middle of your palate. You know, mainly an oily, wet Pilsner compared to other ones. Good little bit of bitterness, I think maybe about 40 IBUs with this one. I think this is a little bit kind of stronger in its bitterness than some of the other ones I've had. Malt base, like I say, fairly smooth in the beginning, a little bit sweet, but then it dries out a little bit the further you go into the aftertaste, and you've also got just a little touch of fruitiness and kind of crispness on the front of the palate as well. So an interesting mouthfeel, this one. As I said, a little bit more oily, a little bit more wet, and a little touch more bitter compared to some of the other Pilsners that I've had. So I guess, yeah, maybe they are going for the approach of like a more kind of craft lager, if you like, which is interesting. Those beers can be very, very interesting. But then again, I think if you call it Pilsner, you are going for the more authentic side of thing. And as I say, there's nothing with the profile, the flavour profile for me is just a little bit thicker and oily compared to what you might expect from the style, if you like. But I do like how this one goes together. I mean, for those of you watching in Sweden, a comparison, I would make a comparison between this one and the Finn Pilsner, except it's a little bit more oily than that, like I say. But I like this one, and I'd be curious to try a few more lagers from these guys. I'm not sure if they'll have done a Schwarzbier or a Dunkel or even a Doppelbock or something like that. But yeah, nice kind of solid Pilsner from Flying Couch, and I would be keen to try this on cask or on keg at some point as well. So yeah, let's leave it at that for this one. This one was the Pilsner at 4.5% ABV from Flying Couch Brewery in Copenhagen over in Denmark. Interesting to try another beer from these guys, and I'll need to see what else I can get from them. I know they've got a couple of Imperial Stouts, so it might be really cool to see if I can get a hold of those. I'll keep an eye out the next time I get over the border, whenever they open it. But yeah, let's leave it at that for this one. Thank you again for watching my beer reviews. Until the next time, please like, subscribe, share, all the usual YouTube stuff. Let me know your own thoughts on this beer in the comment section below. Let me know what your favourite beers are from Flying Couch Brewery. We will return to these guys at some point soon, and you will see some more Danish beers being reviewed over the next little while as well. Thank you again for watching. Check out Flying Couch, and I will catch you guys later. Check out my social media, and most importantly, try some Danish beers if you haven't already. Slàinte, skål, make sure you check out Flying Couch. Cheers.